All right, this is Hamish Patterson, candidate for Malibu City Council 2012. All right, I'm going to be doing some reporting here from the campaign trail. This is February 21st. Last Friday, I went down to the Administration and Finance special meeting down at City Hall, 10 o'clock in the morning. So I'm sure most people who have jobs can't attend these types of things. So right there, something like that I think should be broadcast to the public. So, me being hip to with kind of what's going on with technology, I think the entire City Hall should be wired for video sound quality so that anyone, anywhere, at any time can click in and see what's going on anywhere in City Hall besides the bathrooms. We'll leave the bathrooms private. But City Hall is owned by the city, so it is ours. And anything that occurs within City Hall, the public has the right to know about. I don't believe in anything like a closed-door meeting. I think that's why our city is slowly being turned into a shopping mall. But I digress. So I went down to this Administration and Finance meeting, and it was a special meeting where they needed to discuss a couple things. Now let me note, part of the problem with our system and our government is that nobody shows up. And I get it. It's 10 o'clock in the morning on a Friday. I had to miss 2.5 hours of work. And most people have things they have to do. But that's how they're getting away with it. They were 2 council members, the assistant city manager, and the city manager deciding what they were going to do on a number of very important issues. The first issue being that the city of Malibu hasn't had a treasurer for a while now. Now you ask, how can a city not have a treasurer? I'm asking the same thing. But they were hiring the new treasurer, I guess on some sort of part-time basis or something. Not a full-time treasurer. You'd think they would want a full-time treasurer. So I guess now that I know that the city hasn't had a treasurer, and you know the city hasn't had a treasurer, we need to demand that the city be audited. Yes, the old audit. Because we need to know that all of our finances down in City Hall have their I's dotted and their T's crossed, and all our money is accounted for. And that's not saying that anyone's done anything wrong. It's just saying that we haven't had a treasurer. The things you find out when you show up at city council meetings that normally are unattended. And like I said, there was only myself, Andy Lyon, another candidate for city council who I support, and 2 members of the public who are not running for city council that happen to be there. What also was being discussed was the city's need for $1.45 million. $1,450,000. You may be asking, what is such an emergency the city would need that much money? Well, they don't have enough money to complete their study of the wastewater treatment plant. So, what does that mean? It means the city has spent $2.6 million to date studying the sewer system and what they're going to do about the sewer system. Basically, what the city is thinking about doing is injecting the treated wastewater 150 feet below the Civic Center area in a sand layer that's between clay and bedrock, and just, injecting anywhere from 100,000 to 600,000 gallons of water a day under the city. Seems like a crazy idea to me, but hey, who am I, man? I'm just me. So the city hasn't had enough money to do it, and the city is under a deadline because the city has entered into a memorandum of understanding, also known as an MOU, with the Los Angeles Regional Water Quality Board. This is where it gets interesting. Now let's be clear. The deadline coming up on this MOU is June. The city doesn't have enough money, but they've already spent $2.6 million on it. So in order for them to get to this phase of the MOU, they need to spend $4 million. But that's $4 million before there's an EIR. An EIR is an environmental impact report. So nothing really can get done at all without an environmental impact report, and the environmental impact report is going to cost a lot more money. So the city is on this expenditure program. Now, we were down there at this meeting asking questions, and these kind of people don't like to have questions asked because we're supposed to be at work or not paying attention. But we're down there asking questions like, how much is this project known as the sewer system going to cost? Roughly $30 million. But we're going to get it all back when we form assessment districts. Assessment districts. Are you listening, people? That's you who live anywhere near Civic Center. Anyway, let's get back to what's going on with the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding with the Los Angeles Regional Water Quality Board. The Regional Water Quality Board is putting pressure on the city, along with Heal the Bay, that sued the city, saying the Malibu Lagoon is a dirty body of water because of leaking septic and leaking stormwater and the such. But as the data is beginning to be collected, I gotta take this. All right, I'm back. Okay, train of thought. Gotta get back on the flow again. Anyway, sand's coming from leaking septic. The data's starting to come out that it's not the septic that's leaking into the lagoon, but that there's also some other problem with nitrogen in the water. The nitrogen could come from various sources. Some of them might be natural. There's actually a big study being done, but it's not going to be here in time to stop the lagoon project from going forward. Why is the lagoon project so important? Because without the lagoon project, the Los Angeles Regional Water Quality Board would not be forcing the city into making a sewer system. And if the city used the new data from the lagoon saying the lagoon is not being polluted by local sources as previously thought, they wouldn't need the sewer and they could fight the Regional Water Quality Board. But apparently, the powers that be like to spend our money on a sewer system we don't need. I know it's crazy, but that's what's going on. This giant sewer system, which is going to cause all this massive development, which is only going to benefit local commercial developers, is because the Regional Water Quality Board is saying the lagoon is dirty from septic. But it's been shown that the lagoon is not dirty from septic, and the city doesn't want to fight the Regional Water Quality Board and protect the lagoon, because if they did, that would mean that they are fighting the sewer. Right? They don't want to do that. They want another $1.5 million to continue this project that benefits nobody in Malibu. Where are they going to get this $1.5 million, you may ask? Skateboarders, pay attention. They're going to the Michael Landon Center, and the money that is specially designated for improvements at the Michael Landon Center. Yes, the $1 million that is sitting up at the Michael Landon Center for improvements of the Michael Landon Center is the money that we were hoping to partially tap to build the skate park. Yes, this is why I got involved and decided to run for city council. It started out with me trying to protect the kids from having their skate park taken, and then began to realize that every property and site location that was being used for the temporary park had strings attached to the wastewater treatment plan. And that made me annoyed, because they're little kids and they deserve to have a skate park regardless of having strings attached. This is our city at work, hijacking kids skateboarding so that they can get a sewer project through that we as a city most likely do not want. I'm telling you, people, these guys are spending our money. It would be one thing if they came to the city, I believe 2 years ago, 2009, I think they got the $2.6 million. And then all of a sudden, hey, it's not working out like we thought. We need another $1.5 million to complete the project. Because the memorandum of the understanding is with the city and the regional water quality board saying that they're going to work together to build the sewer so we don't get sued by Heal the Bay. Interesting factoid, the company doing the sewer work, I believe they're called RNC, is a donor to Heal the Bay. Yes, and Heal the Bay is suing the city to build the sewer project, and the sewer project is being built by RNC. You see how this all works? If none of us show up down at City Hall, these guys get to do anything they want. That's why you're voting for me, because I'll show up. I will show up, and I will make it difficult for these guys to build a sewer in our beloved city. And I will make sure they do not take the money that should go to improve Bluffs Park for everybody, which is everybody's in the community's park. You have to understand the sewer and the assessment districts, and this is what they said at the meeting. It'll all be paid back. It'll all be paid back when the assessment district is formed. And this is another interesting little factoid with the sewer project. The whole premise behind digging out the lagoon is the lagoon's unhealthy because of all the residential septic systems are leaking into the lagoon. I find it very interesting that we're going to get a commercial sewer system 4 to 5 years before a residential sewer system. Makes you wonder, doesn't it, that we would be building a commercial sewer system before a residential sewer system, but we're a residential community, and the information they're using to say the lagoon is dirty, they say is coming from the residential septics, which it's been proven isn't coming from the residential septics. That's why we have to save Malibu Lagoon, because it is being falsely used as an environmental issue so that the city of Malibu can build sewers so that they can launch commercial development, which is the most environmentally unsensitive thing you could ever do to our small little community. The lagoon needs help. I will agree with you on that, but this is not the time, the place, or the people to do it with. We need to stop this lagoon project. We need to stop the sewers, and we need to start showing up down at City Hall. And if we're not going to show up at City Hall, we need to force everybody on City Hall to say that they're willing to do everything in front of the public via video camera, YouTube, Skype, internet, whatever it is. You should be able to go in and look at anything going on at City Hall anytime it's going on via your computer. And I would also like to see that people can do live Skype comments during public comments period. Hey, that's why they don't like me down there. Anyway, this is Hamish Patterson, candidate for 2012 Malibu City Council.